Ozonics Killerwinds podcast, back again.
I'm Nick Simon.
Who am I?
Cole Tanner.
I'm Cole Tanner. He's Nick Simon. Here we go. What are we talking about today? We are talking, hey, listen, it's basically Christmas.
Santa's coming to town.
If you're listening to this, we're less than almost 7 days out. Okay? Getting the old reindeer ready.
Yep.
In the reindeer ready. If you're listening to this and you're like me, you probably have a lot of shopping to do yet. Like this morning. I literally did it before we did the pod. Do a little tip tapping on the computer. Try to buy last minute gifts because I keep going, I've got a couple weeks left. I got a couple weeks. And then all of a sudden I go,
now you don't.
Oh crap. Now I'm going to have to pay for more expensive shipping.
Yeah.
So sometimes it doesn't pay to wait.
Yeah. Should we get into that part right away?
Yeah, we should get into the Ozonics part right away.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, if you are interested, we've got some awesome Christmas sales going on. We've had them going on for the last couple weeks, and everything is culminating towards the shipping deadlines because if you can't get it by Christmas, it gets a little tricky.
Yeah.
Especially on Christmas sales.
Mm-hmm.
But the ground deadline for us is December 18th, end of day on the 18th, which is end of day on Wednesday. Our 2-day deadline is the 20th, which is Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Friday, yep.
And then our overnight deadline is the 23rd.
Yep.
But again, some of that's dictated by the carriers that we work with, but that's just, and again, we're not the only one shipping around the U.S. and everywhere else. So you have to, and that's, then again, the other caveat, if we do have any of the Northern Canadian listeners, that's lower 48. So if you're in Canada, you're pretty much out of luck already, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, with duties and taxes and all that rigmarole and getting through, it's just not gonna. If you haven't bought it right now, you're probably gonna get it by Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you said, deadline for ground is Wednesday, 2-day is on Friday, and overnight is first part next week.
Yeah. Yeah. A bunch of great stuff on there. A lot of great deals. Obviously, units.
Yep. Up to 50% off on the site on certain things.
Yep. And I just think
great deals on units, on Ozonics units right now, whether it's the 600, the 500.
Yep. And
the 300, the 230.
Yep. And I just think that there's opportunity to get some really good stocking stuffers.
Yeah, man. If you're
Micro 3,
I was gonna say if you're stocking stuffing an Ozonics unit, man, kudos to you.
Yeah. That might be a little big for the stocking, but I was thinking Micro 3, the new smart clamp.
I was gonna say the new smart clamp is.
Gosh, that thing is.
I feel like one thing we hear from people a lot of time this time of year is, what else do I need or what don't I have? And that's I think what's cool about the clamp is that's something kind of new.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a good time of year too. I mean, guys are rolling into late season. They're probably going to be hunting out of blinds.
Yep.
It's a perfect time to get one, man. And they are just awesome. I love that thing.
Random little side note, man, we cannot catch a break on this weather. We are in the weather roller coaster right now.
It stinks.
Yeah, it's hot, then it gets wicked cold, then it sleets and snows, and then it gets hot, and then now it's going to plummet again.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Oh.
Like if you looked at the last 10, 12 days, we had single digits. Well, before that we had 50.
Yeah.
Opening shotgun here was like 39 degrees.
Yeah.
Then it got up to almost 50. Then it got down to like -5.
Yeah.
Now it's back up to 34, 35 all week. Then this weekend is 16 of a high, below 0 lows. Golly.
Yeah, it's just all over the place.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this first, second shotgun season for me personally has been a little bit of a cluster because everybody at my house is sick. I feel like, dude, I'm not. It's not even the trifecta. It's the whatever the quadruplet is.
Yeah.
Rush has got double ear infection. Finn has walking pneumonia. Jet has influenza A. Tatum has sinus infection. Now Bo's sick.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, now Bobo's sick. And I'm pretty sure she has influenza A. So I didn't even hint around to Jet about deer season because he has his youth tag still, but he was sicker than a dog. He started to feel better on Sunday, but then his kind of fever still kind of comes and goes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So first shotgun came and went. And now second shotgun has kind of, first weekend has come and gone. Now this weekend is going to be just so dang cold.
Freezing cold, yeah.
And I don't really have the way to do that with him that cold.
Right.
I've done it before where literally I've just driven him down to the bottom of the field in the afternoon, set everything up.
Yeah.
Put him in there, drove back to the top, walked back down.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's kind of tricky too.
Yeah. Well, hey, that could be a perfect transition into what we're going to kind of talk about.
What's that?
Well, you're
stocking stuffers. I can't put what you're referring to in a stocking stuffer. That would be a really big stocking. No, but what we're also going to talk about today is just things that we're thinking about for Christmas, things that we're looking at, things that we're thinking about.
Yeah.
Things that just want to get. Mostly hunting related. I've got some stuff that's not hunting related that I like to get too, but I'll tell you the one thing. So first category is something that you love to get that you probably know you're not getting.
Yeah.
I would love to get a 360 ground blind.
Yeah.
Specifically the 360. If you've ever seen them, I had an opportunity a few years ago to hunt at BBD Outfitters, which by the way,
they're having a year, man.
Holy guacamole. Did you see that cranker they shot?
Yeah, it's unreal.
With this huge bases.
Pop cans.
Yeah.
Giant.
Yeah. Well, and that's a real testament to how they do things, right? They hunt out a lot of 360s over food plots that they really hone in on during the gun seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have these blinds on specific spots over those food plots.
Yeah.
And this time of year, they just camp out and they just wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of great hard-sided blinds out there. You know, I've hunted out of redneck ground blinds. Those are really great blinds as well.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I would love to get my hands on a 360 blind.
Yeah.
They're super quiet, very, very well made.
Yeah.
And the thing that for me really, a couple things that really are the kind of, for me, and I think for all of us as consumers, when you're buying stuff, features, advantages, benefits, right? For me, the features and advantages and the benefits that really stuck out to me about the 360 is the vertical window design.
Right.
First off. But with the window design, they're tinted, which is awesome. And their windows are on pulleys.
Yeah.
So it's like these little bags of sand, basically. And they're really, really quiet. And they just slide past each other really, really quiet. And then the other thing is they have these observation windows.
Yeah, that part's
so
cool.
When you stand up, you can look around at the top and see out.
Right.
Golly, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're pretty killer. I would, like I said, we got to hunt out of them at BBD.
Yeah.
And you can configure your window design how you'd like.
Yeah, customize.
Yep, you can customize it.
Yeah.
But we always see them at the Iowa Deer Classic.
Yep.
And I'm always like, can I please go stand in your blind for like 10 minutes and just pretend that I own this thing? but yeah, they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to get my hands on one.
Yeah, and like you said too, it would be so nice for, a weekend like the weekend coming up when it's so cold. I mean, you just know you got a spot you can go, you can be warm. It's preset, obviously you can go in with a ground blind, but
yeah,
man, that can be a lot of work, especially just for a one night sit. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, we were talking about that like a week ago. We were talking about late season and how everything's going to square out. And on the two permission pieces that I have, like the river would be a great spot for, or the mint spot.
Yeah, there's a lot of good spots where it'd be nice.
Oh man. But then at the other permission piece, man, that knob, just to be right on that knob and right off that point and be able to see both directions. And again, the other thing about a ground blind is when you're in an enclosed air environment and you start to bottleneck where your odor goes out of the blind, when you start to run ozonics in those situations, it's
so killer.
Yeah, it can be such a slam dunk, and you can push things in different ways during the season when you might not have been able to.
Yeah.
I also think though, again, ground blinds inherently have challenges, right? Because you are putting it down in a spot that is a bit harder to move. Now, what you guys did at Midwest Whitetail was a great idea in the fact of you put your blinds on
trailers,
like flat trailers.
Yeah.
And then you just, you weren't going to be way up in the air, but you were elevated enough. Sorry. you weren't with a flatbed trailer. You weren't going to be 10 feet up in the air, but you were high enough.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's a really great idea too.
Yeah.
Again, being able to move it around, and because that is the thing, when you set it in one spot, if you're not careful, deer are conditioned learners. Well, all of a sudden they go like, okay, well, that's not right. And that means danger. What you hope is that it just sits there long enough that they just don't seem to care.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law has a blind out that's on a stand and it's up in the air, and the deer literally walk right by it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen guys too that, and I always envisioned buying a blind like that and getting it on a stand and then brushing it in.
Right.
You know, like going and cutting cedars or something and zip tying or tying them to it annually. You know what I mean? And just really trying to brush in the legs to just kind of break it up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that would help too from almost an access standpoint too.
Yeah.
If you cover up the stand part, you know, you can crawl up there real nice, nothing will see you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like you said, and you know, like one of the things I'll say, and you can attest to this, I think what I've always thought about with blinds is like, and you know, is they don't give them away.
Yeah. Right.
They're not free. They're not $100.
Yeah.
You know, they're not a couple $100 like what might be like a pop-up blind.
Right.
And so then you look at it and you go, well, I'll just build one myself. And you, of all people, being from Wisconsin, know a lot of guys that have built them themselves. Yeah. And when the guys, from your experience, when they build them themselves, they go, gosh dang, I wish I would have just bought a 360. I wish I would have just bought a redneck ground blind.
Yeah.
So, you know, you end up, it's a little bit more expensive, but man, it's just nice to be able, you buy it. These people and these manufacturers that are making these, they've been doing it for a long time. They're really, really good at it. So just buy it and get one that's made right and put together right and is sealed up. Yeah. You're not going to open the door and see a bunch of, you know, a mouse mansion in the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really, by the time you're done with it, you probably got close to the same amount of money into it and a lot more time into it.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Nope. You're absolutely right. And like I said, man, I'd love to have one. And like I said, I think it's interesting how life evolves because, again, 10, 15 years ago, a elevated hard-sided blind would have been something I never would have thought of.
Yeah, never really in the cards.
Nope, never in the cards. But again, especially with kids, and if, like you said, you get much farther north from where we're at, you get into Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, it just is cold. It's hard to be out there.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's a whole thing to be said about, you know, I've heard a few things on Instagram lately of guys kind of, you know, standing on their soapbox and saying like, well, when are we going to stop? When is it going to get too easy? When you can go out in a blind and you can have a heater and you could sit on a food plot and then you just sit there and wait for the deer. And is that really hunting? And I understand that perspective too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I do take a lot of pride and I am really excited. I mean, I was showing you that picture the other day that I have of it was during the later half of the first part of the bow season. I was out on a day that it was like 12 to 17 degrees.
Yeah.
And I shot a yearling doe that came in. It was actually, I think it was a little button buck, but it came in and it ran right by the camera and the arrow was sticking out both sides. And it was cold.
Yeah.
That was a cold day.
Right.
And so there's something to be said about just toughing it out.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, quote unquote, doing it the old fashioned way.
Right.
You know?
Definitely.
But anyway, I don't know. I would love to get one. It would be super fun.
That'd be awesome.
And like you said, because what is there? There's, you know, 360. There's Redneck. What other brands out there that make hard side blinds? Muddy. Yep.
Hawk. Whoa.
Hawk makes great. Hawk. Oh, I gotta do my sound effect on that one. I don't even know where it is.
Yeah, Hawk blinds makes really good ones. Oh yeah. Yep, Hawk.
Hawk makes one.
Grizzly
does.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of different ones at Fleet Farm.
Yeah. You drive down the Fleet Farm Broadway Street right there along the building, and there's a ton of them sitting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry for the ones that we're leaving out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, there's a bunch of them out there, and they're all very, very well made. They're all buttoned up. And like you said, I think the thing for me is that I'm always looking for in a blind is just something that's going to be super quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because you get in there and it kind of sounds like a drum. You know what I mean? So you got to be cognizant of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. What else What for you is the thing that you'd love to get, but you know you're not going to get, but you wish you could?
Oh, probably like a chunk of land or something.
Okay, that's again, you can't fit that in a stocking.
That'd be really cool. Not ask for much, 3 to 400 acres. No, just kidding.
No big deal. Hey, mom and dad, just make that happen.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I think for me, the one that I know I'm probably not going to get would be just a really nice bow case.
Oh, interesting. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, so here's a $1 million question. I have an SKB case I really like. It's a double case. Mm-hmm. I really like the double case because you can put one bow in. It's got a divider. You could put a second bow in, or you could put one bow in. And for like when I go to Alaska, it ends up being a ton of extra space for luggage.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know when you looked at cases before, you looked at one with a molded cutout for the bow specifically.
Yeah.
Is that the way you would go? Or would you
know.
Or would you go the one that's more loose?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking about that. Because I do like the one that's kind of molded out just because it's a little bit smaller. It's kind of fit to the bow.
Yep.
But it would be nice to, in case I ever get lucky enough to actually go somewhere on a hunt with my bow, it would be nice to have that. But where I'm at right now, I think I'd probably lean towards just a smaller one, just because the main reason I want it is I don't really have a good spot in my truck for it, just because I got an extended cab and I'm an absolute disaster in there.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's
we should take a picture of your truck.
No, we shouldn't.
It is so funny.
No, we shouldn't. But so I end up just kind of like laying it on top of my clothes, and I'm like, God, I just don't like doing that. It'd be nice to just have it in a nice hard case where it's just safe,
Yeah.
So I think I would probably lean towards getting the one that's just a little bit more compact, just fit the bow in it, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But I do see the value in getting a bigger one, because I remember when we went to Idaho, I mean, you had so much stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're basically, you could put so much stuff that you have to make sure you're under the 50-pound limit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's unbelievable how much stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if you're ever in that situation where you are packing your bow in some sort of SKB, or there's actually another case company that I saw at Shields a while back. I think it's called like Nanook. It's Nanuk.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure our drone case is that.
Okay, yeah, those cases are pretty awesome too. Very much like an SKB case. And they had kind of shorter, sleeker cases.
Yeah.
I think that it's interesting because it used to be, it was like, felt like a few years ago, all the cases you saw, bigger the better.
Yeah.
But now I feel like, especially with a lot of these, even like the rifle that I have, it's a foldable chassis, stock, whatever. Yeah. So it folds down and it gets pretty dang small. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's really, really something to think about, because then the cases get a bit not as long, which is kind of handy.
Yeah.
Don't take up as much space. Bop, 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 bop.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing I would say is if you are using a case, what I do with when I put my bow in there, you'd be surprised how much stuff you can kind of fit under the bow, kind of in between the riser and the string, whether that's just like socks or clothes,
right? Just
to kind of stuff it in there. Also to just kind of keep it from moving or kind of protect the string a bit.
Yeah.
Or put, some sort of, what do you call that? Cam string protector.
Oh, yeah,
on it. But yeah, like I said, I love having that extra space, and I just fill it all the way up.
Yeah.
Well, works out pretty dang good.
And I think about too, like when me and you go, Cole's got a really cool little spot where he puts his bow right behind his seat on the driver's side. Obviously, when I'm hopping into Cole's truck, I don't have that, so it's kind of the same thing. I'm just kind of laying my bow somewhere in the back.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice to just have a case where I could just throw it in the bed of the truck, and then it's just there.
Yeah. Tell you what, the one thing I would say though as well is if you are in the market for buying a hard-sided case, the thing that I would do now looking back is I would buy anything but a black case.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'll never forget. Years ago, I did a Alaska Yukon moose hunt out of Bethel, Alaska. We used a flight service called Papa Bear Adventures, and we flew into the lower Yukon, and they had this big container right near their base camp where their base where they flew into, and you kind of, where everything, you kind of hopped from there for everything. And when we came back, he's like, "Oh yeah, because you just kind of leave." They have these tents set up as kind of your staging area where you put all your stuff and you kind of get it all organized. They have a scale, make sure you're under the weight. And when we got back there, he said, "Oh yeah, your cases are down there in that container." And we're like, "Oh, okay." So we went down there, and you walked in, and on the right-hand side, from top to bottom, 4 case widths back were nothing but hard cases. And they were all black.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
You know? And so first thing I did after that is I just tied like a handkerchief onto the handle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that I could tell apart. Or what I also started to do now is I go to a hardware store, I buy pink duct tape.
Yeah.
And I put a strip of pink duct tape on each side, on the top and the bottom, and I just write my name in big letters.
Yeah.
Then it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was in Alaska this year, I did that, and it was funny because there was, again, a huge stack of cases.
Right.
And one of the guys saw me put mine there, and he goes, I saw what you did there.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, not my first rodeo.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it sucks to have to try to sift through everybody's got stuff in there that they're trying not to like get bumped around because it's not full like it was before.
Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, I would get any color but black.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of companies make like desert brown ones or gray ones.
Yellow, I've seen.
Even get yellow. Get a bright color, man. I get a bright color.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It sticks out.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that's nice, and you would think that people aren't like this, but unfortunately, this is the world we live in. I've heard that about luggage as well. Don't ever get black luggage if you can get some sort of other color, because it's easy for people at a baggage claim just to walk up and just grab luggage and walk away. Well, if it's black and you got a million black ones and there's one that kind of looks like yours, but you don't know if it's for sure, some stranger just walks up and grabs it, he could be out the door in a vehicle and 10 miles away before you even know.
Exactly.
So I like having my case stick out a little bit when I'm traveling. It's just nice to know which one it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I don't know what's going on. Well, I know I had a little bit of a cold last week, and I'm dealing with a little bit of the old frog in the throat.
It's no big deal.
Got a little oh, that's the wrong one.
Got a little frog in the throat. Just a little bit of the old, little bit of the old stuff down there.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So what's another thing you want to get?
Oh, man. Okay, well, now let's go into the gift that you would like to get for Christmas, but you're not, but you're going to buy it before next year.
That's how pretty much the rest of mine are.
Oh, okay, let's save that one then. Let's save that one. Well, we could save that one, or we could just go right into it.
Just go right into it.
Okay. Mine that I want, that I know I'm not getting for Christmas, but I know I'm going to end up buying is, and this is not related to whitetail hunting at all, but I want a Peaks Solitude TP tent, the Dyneema version of that as well. For those of you that don't know what Dyneema is, it's basically a material that's stronger than normal like nylon tents or other types of material. Dyneema doesn't stretch. It's very waterproof. It's very light. So yeah, I've been looking at a teepee tent. For Alaska specifically, I'm thinking about using it specifically as like a spike camp.
Yeah.
I have a tent that I swear by. I have a Hilleberg Solo tent. That's what it's called. SOULO, Solo. And it's like a 1-person tent, and man, I really like it. It's bomb-proof. It's a 4-season tent.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I feel like when it comes to shelters, especially for backcountry hunting, you always want to kind of shelter based on the extreme scenario.
Right.
Because if everything goes south, you want to know that you're going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because your shelter is really your home, right? Mm-hmm. Now, that's one train of thought. Some other people go, well, it's always especially in like the type of stuff that I'm doing, it's always like a weight functionality balancing act.
Yeah.
I want to have functionality, but I also want to really cut down on weight. So at a certain point, you can sacrifice functionality for weight. And so, the saying is ounces leads to pounds, pounds leads to pain. Yeah. So in what I'm doing, I'm counting every ounce.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm like really obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So I have a shelter, this Hilleberg Solo that I swear by, and I usually bring a tarp, Hilleberg Tarp 5 actually, tarp that I use, and stretch that out if I have a base camp set, and then let's say I was going to be spike camping, which spike camping is kind of fun because it's kind of cool to just do it, but then you get really cold and it's kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then if it rains or snows, you can get yourself a little bit of pickle. You don't want to get hypothermia. But I carry like a space blanket, like bivy emergency blanket if I had to. But what I was thinking is like, well, maybe I don't bring the tarp.
Yeah.
And I bring like a teepee tent.
Yeah.
It's a little bit heavier, just a little bit, but it's just a little bit more luxury.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and if I brought the teepee, this friend my buddy Ben that's going to be there with me, he has a tarp.
Yeah.
You know? And so I've been kind of going around. That's a lot of detail that nobody really cares about except for me.
Yeah. Well, I like hearing about it. It's super interesting stuff. Cause it's just, I tell Cole this all the time. Like when I talk to him, it's just so interesting because it's just something that I know that I'll never do. And so it's really cool to talk about it and hear your stories and how you're planning for it. It's interesting.
It's interesting because to fill in the blank, if you're like, what is he even talking about? So I go to Alaska in the fall, beginning of the fall in August, and I've been lucky and fortunate enough to get my assistant guide license for Dall sheep hunting. Mm-hmm. So the last couple of years I've been going up there and I've been working as an assistant guide, and I've been able to guide a couple Dall sheep hunts, which is really, really fun. Yeah. This year I'm pretty stoked that I get to go again. And actually my buddy Ben is going to be up there with me. Yeah. We're going to be working together. It's going to be really, really fun. Yeah. And if you see Nick anywhere, ask him how often I talk about Dall sheep hunting.
It's a lot.
Every day? Not every day.
Not every day.
I'm thinking about it every day. I don't maybe mention it to you every day, but I'm thinking about it and I'm planning for it every single day. It's a 365 day year type deal.
It definitely goes down during deer and turkey season. But for the most part, it's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. And so, like I said, I'm always thinking about it and trying to figure out ways to make things within my quote unquote kit or whatever you want to call it better. Yeah. Within the gear that I bring. Yeah. So like I said, I've really been interested in a teepee tent. And I think the other thing that would be nice about it, especially with those, because with a lot of teepee tents, you can get teepee tents that have the ability to use a stove and ones that don't. Yeah. I kind of think I want one that has the ability to use a stove because if I was to use it around here with like Jet, I could put a little stove in there. We could go winter camping and types of things like that, or even in the fall. Yeah. Or I was even thinking about you and I, like in the spring.
Yeah, turkey hunting.
Oh man, taking it turkey hunting would be really cool. Yeah. So they're pretty killer. Like so, and again, it'll fit within what I'm trying to do. Again, especially because what I said earlier about shelters and kind of planning for the worst case scenario, if you're in a spike camp and you're just under a tarp, under a space blanket or a bivy sack, you can make that work. Guys do that all the time. But again, if all of a sudden it starts to rain, snow, sleet, gets real western, that can be pretty uncomfortable. Yeah, exactly. Whereas if you had a teepee tent, and the way the peaks really, the way that really ties down, they've got this structure system in the middle where you can put trekking poles that help create better structure towards the top of it so it doesn't blow and move as much, and the Dyneema doesn't stretch. Yeah. Where you hear a lot of people talk about teepee tents, oh, well, the fabric kind of sags, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. The Dyneema kind of helps prevent that. Yep. So that's something that I'm really looking at that I'm probably going to end up buying. They're out of stock right now. Geez. Well, you got time. I click the notify me when available.
Yeah, you got time.
Yeah. What about you?
I think the next one I'm going to do is just going to be kind of stuff for turkey season as a whole. There's a bunch of things that I kind of want. I'm looking at getting. One being just a pop-up blind.
Oh yeah.
I really want to get them blind. Just that's the way that Cole has taught me to hunt, and it's super fun. And
if you're going to be trying to bow hunt them.
Exactly.
And again, you could sit on the ground for bow hunting too. Some guys do. Yeah. They really like it that way.
Yeah, but I think if I had my own, it would just kind of open up the doors where we could split up a little bit. Or if there's a day where you want to take Jet, I can go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. I think it would just be really nice just have one of my own just to have at my disposal. Yeah.
I don't think you're going to want to throw it away, but yes.
Yeah. But that's one thing there. I'd also like to kind of start getting my own decoys, which might be just a little bit early for that just because I'm super green. But at the end of the day, like
Dave Smith decoys only by Dave Smith. They're also amazing DSDs. And they look so good.
So I was thinking my first one I'm probably going to buy would be a full strut tom because...
Really?
Yeah, because That's the one thing.
You've been so gung-ho about getting a full strut tom just because I don't have one.
Yeah, I know. It'd be split. How nice would that be, though?
I know, but that's probably, if you're trying to create your own decoy setup, that's not the first one that you would probably buy.
Yeah, but the way I see it is you have such a nice...
Posturing Jake, posturing hen.
Yeah, you have a really nice setup right now.
That's what I would start with.
That would be my almost gift to you for letting me use it yours for 2 years.
You don't have to gift anything to me.
But you know what I mean, though. It would be good to get that, and then I can start working on getting really my own stuff. But
yeah.
So there's that, and then I'm also looking at a new slate call, which I don't really know why because I have one, but
because
they're just cool. I don't know.
Slate calls are pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
and then we made a pretty interesting discovery the other day.
Yeah, Cole's got like a super rare one.
Yeah. So I used to work in Colorado as a hunting guide in Southern Colorado and guided for stuff in the fall and then spring turkey hunting. And there was this guy that came one time, and gosh, I don't remember his name, but he brought his dad, which was pretty cool. His dad had never been west of the Mississippi, and his dad was kind of sick. And his dad ended up passing away like within 6 to 8 months after that. So it was a pretty neat deal that he got to be there.
Yeah.
But this guy that came turkey hunting, he was a heck of a turkey hunter, and he had a booklet of mouth calls. I mean, It was really incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a heck of a mouth caller too. It's like, you're like, wow, man, you're really good at this. And we were talking a lot, and it was interesting to kind of get his perspective on how he does things. And he had this call, this slate call. It was a Cody call.
Mm-hmm.
And you were asking me like, well, what, you were looking at the same slate call that I have, which was given to me as a gift. One of them was for my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know that the way I am with turkey calls, I look for, and I really like a bright full sound.
Yeah.
Some people like more of like a muffled or raspy, or I don't know how to describe it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
duller sound.
Yeah, duller sound.
Yeah.
Or maybe more of like a tingy sound, whatever that might be. I like a bright, full sound. And when you hear it, you just know. That's what I really like. I feel like that sounds the most realistic. I just really like that.
Yeah.
So that lends itself for me towards glass slate calls. Mm-hmm. And it's not even a glass slate call because slate is slate. I always call it a slate call, but I like a glass pot call. You guys might call it that.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were looking at the same brand that I have, which is called a what?
Lights Out.
Yeah, Lights Out, which if you're interested, man, they make some, they're good looking, and they individually write the year when they were built, and gosh, they're just
match the right striker he thinks
is the right
best for it.
Yeah. Whew, man, it's nice.
And they're just sharp looking.
Oh,
you can just tell that it's handmade.
They're
super cool.
Oh yeah. And there's a ton of them out there. There's a ton of guys that build them, and they look so good. Yeah. And I have a couple in my basement. We were at Ohio years ago, and there was I'm going to call him a slate call champion, but he was like a world champion, and he had his own type of call. Mm-hmm. And I paid way too much for it. But he was there, and I got to talk to him, and it was pretty cool. And like at the end, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy one from you. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. I'm like, but only if you sign the bottom of it. So he signed it, which was cool. I mean, it just whatever. But, and yeah, I haven't even used that one. It just still sits in the case.
Yeah.
I still have it in like little case or whatever. It's just in like clamshell packaging or whatever. But yeah, so then I was like, well, what other call do I have? Well, the call that I have has got some weird symbol on the bottom of it. It's like a turkey, but it looks all weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it's called a Cody call. So I just Googled it quick. Well, here come find out some of those Cody calls are pretty coveted.
Yeah.
And the one that I have and the design that's on the bottom, and then if you try to find that design on the internet, they look pretty coveted. So
yeah, and
go for a pretty penny.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and the price on eBay tells you that they're pretty coveted.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Interesting that sound like these Cody calls back in the day were the call that everybody really used, and there was a bunch of world champions that used those for years, and that was kind of the bar, and a lot of slate calls were kind of designed off of that.
Right.
So yeah, that one does sound good. Really good. Yeah. Well, and to get back to my story, this guy in Colorado had that call, and and again, now I look back on it, he shot a turkey and it was pretty awesome, and we shot it in the snow of all things, and and he gave me that he gave me that slate call, that Cody call, and he was, he kind of handed it to me, but he didn't like let go of it right away, and then I like kind of like pry it out of his hand. Now I know why.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was pretty cool. So
yeah,
pretty awesome thing to get to have.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
You want me to go or you?
You go. I've gone twice in a row.
No, you didn't.
I started out going twice in a row. You start now.
Okay. I think another thing would be this is now the deer hunting side. I would like to get a couple more stands, I think.
Oh, there you go.
Just the way we hunted this year and stuff like that, and the way that I hunt is a little different than Cole, but so it kind of handcuffed me a little bit in some spots.
Do you want tree stands or do you want saddle platforms?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not 100% sure. I think I would probably maybe get maybe mix of both, because I think there's some spots that I wouldn't see myself sitting all day where I'd be fine with the saddle. But if it's a spot where I could sit all day, I would like to have a seat, a regular stand, so I can just turn around and sit down if I get kind of tired or whatever. That worked really, really good this year when I did sort of the all day sit. I came out at lunch, but it was nice. I mean, I definitely felt my legs getting a little tired. So middle of the day, I just turned around and sat down for a little bit, and it worked really, really good. So I think I would probably get a little bit of both, honestly. A couple of one, couple of the other. And then I'm still, I don't know why, but I'm still really looking at that tethered lockdown saddle with the adjustable saddle. It's like got elastic in it, and it's got extra pockets and stuff. Still kind of eyeing that up, but I don't know if I'll pull the trigger on that. But
yeah.
And then I think I'm gonna upgrade the ropes, just because I used them a ton this year. I feel like if there's one thing that you should keep up on just...
I know, mine too. I mean, look...
Yeah, yours is already frayed, and you don't even use it for saddle hunting, really.
I know. I mean, I just use it as the lineman's belt a lot.
Yeah.
And it's pretty frayed up.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
I mean, I asked you that the other day. I was like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, you think I should be using this? It's not like one strand or anything.
Yeah.
But it's definitely frayed in a couple spots that I'm like, I probably should.
Yeah, so I'm thinking just upgrading my ropes and stuff like that. And then of course getting the rope men for it. That thing is just so nice when you're up there. It's just easy adjustability.
Yeah, that would be handy.
Yeah.
Yep,
so
yeah, no, and like I said, that's I think the big choice that you have to make is, and that's one thing that we talked about before the season started is when you're trying to do all day sits in a saddle and you're constantly putting that pressure on your feet, it's really tricky. And the rebuttal to that would be, well, then just don't be on your feet all the day, like lean against a tree or put knee pads on and all that. But God, it just doesn't seem like that works out. I mean, it's not. I mean, you can do that, and I guess guys do. But it just seems really.
The thing that's tough about that, and what I've kind of started to figure out, is you really need a perfect tree to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I remember at Midwest Whitetail, a lot of the trees that we were in, it worked really nice. You loosen everything way up, and you kind of like just crouch and just kind of lean up against the tree. But like the one spot where we had a saddle platform, that tree is so big.
Yeah.
And it had just a touch of a lean towards me, and so it was kind of hard to get up against the tree.
Yep. Because it was always keeping you away.
Yeah, it would just the way that the tree was, it just kind of held you back just a little bit.
Yep. But yeah, I think the thing you have to figure out is do you try to go for smaller platform, lighter weight stands? Yeah. Because again, you're basically just using it as a saddle platform. Yeah. But then it's nice to have a seat on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So just like, some of the Noviks, like those really, really small Novik stands. Yeah. And there, other brands that are out there that just make a really, really small platform stand that has a seat that you could just flip up and down might be the way to go. Because again, you could get a bigger platform stand, but you really need that.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're going to be saddle hunting out of it. Yeah. And maybe going in on a spot and setting it. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I think that would kind of lead me towards getting the bigger one is if it's a spot that we preset where I could film out of too. Yeah. It's really nice to be able to get as far back as you can, just to have room to get the camera in between you and the tree. Yeah. Whereas if you're on a smaller one, it might be just a little tighter, but Either or. I mean,
yeah, because what you're referring to is like on a small platform. It's not only that it's small with your feet left to right, but it's usually small front to back.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you're if you are going to try to film out of it, and if you're saddle standing out of it, and if on a small platform front to back, you can't get as far away from the tree because there's just not as much platform.
Yeah, exactly.
There. Where with like a full Novik stand, there's a lot of platform out in front of you.
Yeah, and it's money to film out of.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome.
Yep. Nope. Inherently, when you and I hunt in the fall, we hunt stands differently, and the way we set stands is different.
Yeah.
Because last year you were just kind of hunting all my tree stands, but this year we were trying to lean more towards you saddle standing.
Yeah.
Out of everything, which means it's harder for you to shoot on your weak side.
Yep.
Not that that's not possible in a saddle. You can do the whole turn around, put the rope over your shoulder, lean into the rope.
Yeah.
That seems a bit nerve wracking to me personally, and I don't mind heights, right?
It is nerve wracking,
and some guys I think probably do that very effectively.
Oh heck yeah, they do.
Yeah, and maybe some guys that's just like they really prefer it that way. I don't know.
Yeah,
but inherently, I set stands like I would if I'm thinking about the co-op right now. I'm going to set the co-op and I'm going to face it straight north, and I'm going to be able to shoot to the northeast, north, northwest, west, southwest if I need to.
Yep.
Whereas you in a saddle, you're going to be I'm on the north side tree. You're going to be on the south side of the tree.
Yeah.
And so it's just a completely different thing.
Yeah. Basically, everywhere where Cole sets a tree, I'm going to set basically exactly opposite.
The exact opposite side.
Yeah.
If I set it at 12 o'clock, you're going to set it at 6 o'clock. If I set it at 3, you're going to set it at 9.
Exactly.
It's completely the opposite.
Yeah.
And so that has kind of created more of a challenge.
Big time. Big time. But honestly, though, it worked really good this year. I mean, I feel like there was maybe some sets that I just didn't go to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It worked better because you just knew you were going to. But again, what we tried to do in my whole idea before the season was, okay, let's just, the spots that I feel like are the very best, let's just set those up for this double way of doing things, which was the river, which was the co-op, which could have been the middle.
I could have just stood out of your stand in the corner, too.
Could have been the single ladder.
Yep.
All those spots were just conducive to, you could saddle stand out of them if you needed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
A couple new stands maybe, and maybe that new saddle. But we'll see what happens. I do like the saddle I have. It's comfortable. It's like, if it's not broke, why fix it? But
yeah, that's the thing too, and that's what I always come back to too. It's like for me with camo, it's what do I need, and what do I want?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the thing with all gear.
Yeah.
Is what do I need and what do I want?
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of the stuff, if it's not broke, well, I get more. But then it is nice to have extra stands, and that's the big one, right?
Yeah,
it's sure nice to have extra stands.
Yeah.
Something else? What else? What else am I looking that I would love to have? Man, I know the other thing I'm looking to get. I'm looking to get a new pair of boots.
Oh yeah, that's been on your mind hard lately.
Yeah. Yep. I'm looking at La Sportiva. It's a pair of boots that I'm looking at. I'm looking at some La Sportiva. The La Sportiva the La Sportiva cubes.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yep.
Also the Evos. Can't decide. Probably gonna get the cubes.
Yeah.
Full shank boot, very, very stiff. Rubber ran around the outside, very waterproof.
Yep.
A buddy from last year that was wearing the Evos and just had really, really great luck with them.
Yeah.
I've been wearing the Crispies the last couple of years. I love those boots too. Worked really, really good. I feel like for me, boots are like gloves. As soon as I get a pair, I want like the next pair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like always this moving target that I'm trying to hit that never stays in the same spot. As soon as I feel like I hit it, I look over it and it's moving over this way.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like I said, I really love those Crispy boots. They've worked out great. But then I was on their website the other day and the Brickstall Pro GTX SFs, which is a long name, they weren't even on their website.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But those are the ones I wore the last couple of years and liked them. But like you said, I'm looking at those La Sportiva cubes. They're about 4 ounces heavier than the Brickstalls per boot. The Evos are 8 ounces heavier than those that I wore last year, which is kind of the part that's kind of balking me at the Evos.
Right.
But, well, I know another thing that you're talking about wanting to get on the same line
Me?
of the boots. Yeah. Sheep feet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd love to get some sheep feet.
Don't give those away either.
No, they don't.
They don't give them away. But I'll tell you what. Here's what and this is a shameless plug to sheep feet. I don't even know them at all. I'm just saying this because I just have used them and I believe in them.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of stuff and read a lot of stuff before I bought them. And I knew a guy that had them and swore by them. That it was like, hey man, listen, you'll wear out your boots well long before you wear out the insoles. You'll wear out multiple pairs of boots before you wear out the insoles.
Yeah.
That's a true statement.
Yeah.
I will be on this will be my 4th season with those sheep feet.
Yeah.
And it'll be the 4th pair of boots.
Yep.
It's like they're brand new.
Yeah.
And they send you a foam box. You actually put your foot right in it and they custom make these insoles directly for your foot.
Yeah.
Man, after you wear those insoles and you put regular boots on, it's like, geez, oh, Pete's.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how nice it is to have your foot fall where it's supposed to.
Yeah, and I definitely kind of struggle with that. It seems like every pair of boots I have, every once in a while, my feet will get really, really sore.
Yeah.
Especially in the saddle, my feet just kill me. Just kill me.
Well, and I feel like, especially for me when I'm in Alaska, you know, it's like I am the mode of transportation, right? You know, and my feet are the tires on the vehicle.
Right.
And so if I'm not keeping my feet right, then it affects the whole
exactly
the whole vehicle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so like I said, I've really had great luck with those sheep feet. They're awesome. They're worth every penny.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're not even just going like doing something like that, if you're just a type of person like you're talking about that your feet too get kind of sore.
Yeah.
Or you're always just struggling with insoles or just feel like you can't get that right fit.
Yeah.
And you're wanting something that's going to absorb more shock when you're walking. You know what I mean? There's a video out there where they show sheep feet with a regular insole and their sheep feet next to them. They take a bowling ball and they drop it on the regular insole on concrete and the bowling ball like bounces up in the air. They take the bowling ball and they drop it on the sheep feet and it literally just goes bump.
Yeah, yeah.
It just stops.
Yeah.
It's pretty unreal.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really, really like those. That's something that you've been looking at.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It'd be pretty cool.
But like you said, they definitely don't give them away.
Nope.
So I'm just
Yep.
weighing it out.
But again, that's like everything, right? Some people say that about Ozonics, right? We don't give those away either.
Yeah, exactly.
But is it worth it? Is the value there? Yeah, absolutely. Is it going to help you? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, especially with, your body and stuff. You got to treat your body right. And if you're beating it up constantly, it'll just only get worse.
Yep. And again, in the long run, when you look at the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, it makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and looking at a pair of boots, I really like to get a pair of boots.
Mm-hmm.
Try to think what else.
I don't really think I have anything else, honestly.
I feel like this year I've been hard to buy for because Tatum's been asking me, what do you want? What do you want? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, one thing I was looking at yesterday is I would like to get, I got, what was that, last year? Last year or the year before? I got those Ryan Kirby bolsters with the deer on them. I want to get the turkey one.
Oh, he has a turkey one?
Yeah, and it's really cool. It's like shows like the Grand Slam. It shows all the different.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I think that'd be kind of cool to add to my collection.
Yeah.
So, especially now because I'm just this huge turkey hunter.
I tell you what, I don't know what it is, but for some reason that statement always feels like is like cringeworthy.
Yeah, I know.
How many people have you heard say that to you? You know who I'm talking about when I'm going to say what I'm about to say. There's a guy that ran into or talked to him on the phone. Yeah, man, I'm a huge bow hunter. I'm a huge bow hunter. And I think he means that he's just a very passionate.
Yeah, he likes to do it. And
he likes to do it. But when you say you're a huge bow hunter, you say you're a huge turkey hunter, for some reason it just doesn't come off the right way, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's half the reason I said it.
I know. It's like, I just can't. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way.
No, it's it's been super fun the last couple of years. I'm really looking forward to this year. And
It's funny. It's still smack in the middle of deer season. We're talking about turkey hunting.
yeah, I know. But I don't know. It's just fun. It's a good change of pace. I keep telling my buddies, like, I can't believe I didn't do it when I was younger.
Oh, I know.
It's just crazy. I feel like I missed out on a lot of really good memories and experiences growing up. But
Well, and I'll tell you what, I think even if you're maybe listen to this and you go, just turkey hunting, like turkey hunting. But man, I'll tell you what, it's a great way to get out in the woods in a time of year that you're probably not going to get out there any other way. It's a great way to get out there. It's a great way to get the blood flowing. Yeah. It's a great way to hone those skills of getting in that moment of truth and putting it on there.
Yeah, just putting yourself in that moment, man.
Yep. Even whether it's with a bow or with a gun.
Yeah.
Man, it's just so fun.
Oh, it's so fun. I keep trying to get Dad. I'm like, Dad, just come down for a weekend and just sit with us, and just so you can experience it and hear him gobble and stuff. Like, I think my dad would really like it, but he just keeps going back to, I want to be fishing that time. I want to be fishing. I want to be fishing. I'm like, yeah, but it's 1 week. 1 week out of the spring, if you really think about it, you know?
Yeah, when you get out there and you experience that and you hear the gobbling and you see them come in, and like you were playing some video from a couple years ago, the first spring that you were here, man, we had a really good spring last spring, but we had an unbelievable spring the spring before.
Gosh.
Yeah. And
that hooked me so hard. It was just so fun.
Well, and I'll tell you what, the thing about spring turkey hunting and the thing about turkeys in general is when you see them out there and you see them strutting, you're like, oh, there they are. Cool. Turkey strutting. That's pretty awesome. Or you see them on trail camera. But when you get close to them and they strut, man, it just feels like something you're like, man, I'm not supposed to be this close to you. Because even in the midst of them strutting and carrying on, for the most part, they are very much on top of it.
Yeah.
They know what's going on. And if something doesn't look right, out of strut, and they're gone to you.
Yeah, exactly.
They are gone.
Yeah.
They will not put up with it.
Yeah.
Because there's bobcats and there's coyotes and there's everything else and there's birds of prey that are constantly swooping and trying to do what they can do to kill them.
Yeah.
And so they are on top of it.
Yeah. That just made me think about, remember last year we were sitting there, sun was just barely coming up, and all of a sudden you just hear, bah! Remember that hawk came down and like T-boned the decoy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I completely forgot about that.
That was so cool.
Oh, man, I completely forgot about that.
Just absolutely T-boned it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Just hit it. Oh, it was so cool.
Well, dude, and
it scared the crap out of me, but.
Yeah, it did. We didn't get that on video, though, did we?
No.
Was that a hawk or an owl?
I guess I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't remember either.
It happened so fast.
It did happen super fast.
Yeah.
Well, dude, and I'll tell you what, every once in a while on trail camera, you'll see turkeys that they'll take their fan and they'll splay their fan way out and they'll lay it down. They'll lay it backwards, flat towards the ground. And from what I understand, and when I first saw that, I thought, oh, okay. What they're trying to do is if a hawk or something, or there's a bird of prey above them and it tried to come down and swoop, and they put their fan down like that, it's like they're hoping that they'll try to hit on their fan rather than hit on their body.
Yeah.
Because it makes it look like another big spot. It's almost like a fish that has a black dot near its tail.
Yeah.
If something other tries to come and bite, it bites it at its tail. It's not biting, it's at its head.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah, exactly.
But I've always heard that, and I was always taught that when they splay their tail out like that, it's like, so if something kind of come down, and I've had it where you've seen a hawk flying behind in a trail cam photo with their fan way splayed way out.
Yeah.
I could find that picture for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and we had it last spring where, man, you'll hear everybody out there just start emergency clucking and they just go berserko. Yeah. But yeah, that was so crazy.
That was wild.
Well, and that's the thing that's fun too about spring turkey hunting, and that's what's fun about the fall deer hunting. You just never know what you're going to see out there.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah, it's fun too. We've seen a ton of deer doing it too. It's kind of cool to see them in the spring.
Yeah.
And we run trail cameras too. And last year it was kind of fun. There was actually a buck that we were kind of chasing last year, and we had him like all spring. He didn't shed till really late.
I know.
And so that was kind of fun too.
Yeah, but there was a couple of them. There's been a couple the last couple of years that have shed really late.
Yeah.
Now, again, we've had some pretty mild winters.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there have been a few that have shed super, super late.
Yeah. But
trying to think what else what else I'm thinking for Christmas.
I'd like to get my own muzzleloader.
Oh man, I know. Me too.
One of Zip's work buddies and just buddy in general, super, super nice guy. He's gracious enough to send down 2 muzzleloaders with him. So this muzzleloader season, me and Cole and then Zip and Benny will all be able to carry muzzleloaders. So
yeah. Yeah, that's cool. One thing that I've always gone round and round about.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to justify just because you really only use it for a couple weeks out of the year. But
I say that, and then I have a really, really expensive rifle. That's the exact same circumstance.
Yeah, but you
could shoot it a lot more.
You shoot it a lot in the summer, though.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you, it's funny. I actually was flipping through my phone over the weekend and came across our doe hunt from last year.
Yeah.
On January 8th, that was really fun.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
Off that thicket.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it's fun to reach out and touch them.
Yeah.
It is fun to reach out and touch them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really, really fun hunt.
Yeah, getting a muzzleloader would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always said I'd love to get a night muzzleloader.
Yeah, so
and I've always been eyeing those nights.
Yeah.
We've met those guys over the years at the shows and stuff. They're super good people.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and they build every one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys know those guns inside and out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I would love to get my hands on one of those.
Yeah.
What else?
I really have nothing. I have got absolutely nothing.
I'm trying to think. Man, I know something that I would love to get that I just not in the cards right now. And Jet's been hounding me about this. You don't even know what I'm going to say. Thermal vision scope. Man, I would love to get my hands on a thermal vision scope.
Yeah.
Well, but see, it's a twofold deal. I'd love to get my hands on a thermal vision scope, and then I'd also love to get my hands on a monocular thermal vision.
Yeah.
So you can scan with the monocular,
right,
and then shoot with the rifle.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hard to scan with just the gun.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you're just sitting here going like this, you can scan pretty fast with the monocular. Put that down.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Man, I would love to get that. Jet's been asking me about that. He's been watching videos on YouTube, finding stuff about that. He asks me about it all the time. Yeah. And I've got the AR, and I've had it for a long time. I would love to get that set up with a thermal vision.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Scope.
That'd be really cool.
That would be pretty killer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that would be pretty killer.
Yep.
Well, I think we wrap it up. Let's just say one last thing. The most important thing about the Christmas season, I think, and you can fall where you may when it comes to the spiritual religious side of things, a lot like Thanksgiving is getting to spend time with family.
Yep.
I think that's the greatest gift of all.
Yep.
You know, I actually saw a video on my phone. I'm going to show it to our kids at Christmas. It was some group that sends gifts to kids in Uganda. Mm-hmm. And it showed all these kids in the school, and they give them the boxes. The kids don't even know what's in the box.
Yeah.
They just get this wrapped present, and holy cow, you should see the joy that these kids they're jumping up and down. They're freaking out. They're doing all these cool little high fives, and they're doing all this stuff, and they're just losing it. They don't even know what's in the box.
Yeah.
It could be a paperweight.
Right.
They're so excited because they have a present.
Yeah.
One present.
Yep.
Don't even know what's inside of it.
Yep.
And they're just losing their minds. I mean, you could just hear this whole room of kids, just joy.
Right.
And I think that's what I think sometimes. I think sometimes gift giving and buying gifts and wrapping gifts and figuring out what to buy and ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba, it can be so stressful.
Right.
Stressful for me.
Yeah.
Gosh, I feel like it's stressful for my wife.
Yeah.
You know, it's stressful. Like you've heard me last couple. Oh, what do I get, Jet? What do I get him? Oh, what do I get him?
Yeah.
Going round and round and round and round and round. It's like, does it all really even matter that much?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I think the most important gift of all is getting to spend time with your friends and family. I think that's what really, really comes down to. That's what really, really matters.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say, again, something I heard on Instagram. You know, I heard a thing. It's like 150 years from now, everything that we all have will be gone.
Yeah, exactly.
All these material things, all this stuff will just be gone. It'll be in a landfill. It'll be burned up. It won't be here.
Yeah.
all the friends and family that you know will be gone.
Yeah.
You'll be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And all that you really have is like your legacy, is what people may remember you by.
Right.
If you think about it, I know my family, I know my grandma and grandpa. I vaguely know my great grandma and grandpa. And after that, I don't know anything after that.
Right.
The reality is that we kind of all fall into the oblivion of history for the most part, except for presidents. Everyone remembers presidents.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it all ends up going away. So does it really matter that much? And what really is important in this time of year, in this season?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. But like you said, I'm not a big Christmas guy. It's not my favorite time of year personally, but my family, my kids, my wife, man, that's their favorite time of year. I'm a 4th of July guy.
Me too.
I'm a 4th of July. I'm a fireworks guy.
Me too.
But it's a good time of year to spend time with family and get to catch up and remember what's important. And Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Hey, and a little teaser. We got a really exciting episode next week.
Next week, yeah, be ready for it, okay?
Be ready. You might want to have a notebook. You might want to not be driving because you're probably going to be a little distracted. I'm hyping it. This is going to be a good one.
Yep, so just be ready.
These all have been good, but next week we are really throwing a heater.
Yep.
I'm like Randy Johnson sitting there and I'm waving off the curveball. I'm saying just give me the heater.
Yep.
And we are not just you. I don't want to tease it too much.
Yeah.
We're throwing the heater.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for it.
Oh, man.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be really good.
So, yeah, be ready for that.
And you know me, the only little tidbit I'll say is, hey, I'm a fact guy.
Yes.
I love my facts. We got some facts coming.
Major
facts.
Yep.
Facts that, I don't know, make you a better deer hunter?
Could be.
Give you some information you maybe want to know?
Could be.
Probably.
Yep.
That's all we're going to say about that. Hey, one more episode before Christmas, but Merry Christmas early. Thanks for listening. Stay classy. Ozonics Killerwinds podcast in the book.
See you next week.
Stay classy.